Good morning to all. In our last classes, we were discussing about the questions here. So, what fourth question I have completed in one video, and in the next video, I took up with the sixth question. Fifth question, I couldn't solve that one, and then I found that the question was very easy. I thought you can solve on your own, but still, let me solve this fifth question for you, and then we'll continue with the yesterday's topic. So glucose and galactose are epimers at C4. That is the correct statement. So here we need to select the incorrect statement. So first one is correct. Glucose and galactose are epimers at C4. Second option, glucose and galactose are epimers at C2. So this is the wrong statement. Option B is the wrong statement. Next one, glucose and mannose are epimers at C2. That is also correct statement. A and C are correct. B is an wrong statement. So glucose and galactose will differ. The structure of glucose and galactose differ at C4. So that is what the correct statement is. So this is what the fifth question. So here we have completed all those bits. So we shall try to continue with the yesterday's class or yesterday's topic there. So yesterday's topic was glucose and fructose both will be giving rise to an tolerance test as well as Fehling's and Benedict's solution. So all these tests have been glucose and given by glucose and fructose. So even though glucose is with mild oxidizing agent, it is with aldehyde group, reacts with mild oxidizing. Fructose is with ketone but still undergoes ketoenol tautomerism and will be converted as alpha hydroxyaldehyde. So with this aldehyde group, it is going to give out the tolerance reagent test, Fehling solution as well as Benedict's test. So we shall see now how this test actually undergoes and how this test will be formed. We shall see now. So what first one, that is the Fehling's test. Fehling's test. So Fehling's test consists of Fehling's solution. And what is that Fehling's solution? We shall see. So Fehling's solution is, it is an two solution. Fehling solution A that consists of copper sulfate solution. 7 gram of copper sulfate solution. Likewise, it is Fehling, as I said, it is a combination of two solution, Fehling solution A and Fehling solution B it is. So Fehling solution B consists of potassium tartarate and NaOH. That is, here it is 7 gram of copper sulfate solution. So here it is 35 gram of potassium tartarate and 12 gram of NaOH mixed in 100 ml of water. So this is what Fehling's solution is. So this is what we are going to use in our test also. So we shall write the reaction for glucose. We'll write it first. The same way it will be for fructose also. Glucose consists of aldehyde group. Likewise, fructose also will consist of alpha hydroxyaldehyde group. By ketoenol tautomerism, it will be converted. So next glucose we shall see. CHO group and it is CHOH 4 times. So glucose is going to give a rise to a positive test for Fehling solution. It is due to the presence of aldehyde group. So that's why we need not write this elaborately. This is enough. Only aldehyde group which is going to change we shall see. So this is from our Fehling's solution. Cu2 plus 5OH minus. So this we have already studied. So it is copper sulfate. A copper sulfate or pentahydrate has been dissolved in water. So it will be converted as copper sulfate solution, and NaOH. OH minus is from NaOH. We have NaOH here. So NaOH minus is from the basic medium. So this is what the basic medium. So in our last class we were discussing. So Tollens test, Fehling test as well as Benedict test all will be maintaining a common factor, that is basic medium, because of which what fructose has been converted, the ketonic group of fructose has been converted as alpha hydroxyaldehyde. So basic medium NaOH, with that 5OH minus it is going to give rise to, and it will be converted as COO minus CHOH, and it is CH2OH. So it is what we name as carboxylate ion, or we have a potassium in our solution, or we can consider sodium. Either sodium or potassium will be attached to it. So we can write it as sodium salt of gluconic acid, or potassium salt of gluconic acid. So this is about carboxylate ion. So we have written carboxylate glucose ion plus the further important products. So that is the Cu2O. We can name that one as cuprous oxide, and it is an red precipitate. Okay. So further it is continued with the 3H2O. So here a very important thing, Cu2 plus ion is there. So it is cupric in nature. Cupric, or we can tell copper 2 also. So it is a deep color. It is a deep color substance. Copper sulfate we have studied. It is a deep blue color substance. But when you treat that one with glucose, it will be converted as cuprous oxide. So that is nothing but Cu in +2 state here. Here Cu in +1 state. The oxidation state of copper has been changed from +2 to +1. So cupric here, cuprous here. So the color of the precipitate also changes. So because of which we can identify that the Fehling solution has undergone a reaction, and it is a mild oxidizing agent. So it is going to convert the glucose, aldehyde group of glucose, into an carboxylic acid. So this is what the color indication, that is what a preliminary test or primary test. So the color indicates that so the Fehling solution test is positive. So the red precipitate indicates that it is a positive test. So likewise we'll move on to the next one. So this is about the Fehling solution test. The same thing will be done or will be seen for even fructose also. So if you consider fructose, so the same thing for fructose also, it will be deep blue color, and it is going to give out a carboxylate ion or red precipitate as it is. So that's what fructose also will be showing. It is because of ketoenol. With the basic medium, there is an ketoenol tautomerism takes place, and it forms an aldehyde group, where aldehyde group, with the help of these reagents, it will be converted as carboxylate ion. Next we'll move on to the Tollens test. Tollens test. So what is Tollens reagent? Tollens reagent is ammonical silver nitrate solution. Ammonical silver nitrate solution. So this has been taken in an basic medium, as I said earlier. So we shall see the compound. We'll write the glucose first. Glucose. Here also same thing. Aldehyde group is undergoing the reaction. So we need not an elaborate structure here. So here also we have taken a glucose. And we are going to take the reagent Ag, NH3 twice, OH. That is nothing but here it is Ag plus, to nullify that charge, OH minus. So OH minus is from the basic medium. It is from the basic medium. So it is plus and OH minus, the charge will be balanced. In our coordination compound we have studied. So if this is an coordination complex, then this is the counter ion to balance the charge on the complex. So an counter ion is being used, which is available in our solution. So it is plus, it comes, and it is OH minus, which nullifies the charge. So the product formed, what is the product formed? We shall see that. So carboxylic acid, we are going to get an carboxylic acid, COOH, carboxylic acid. Or since it is a glucose, we can call that one as gluconic acid. An aldehyde is being an aldehydic group, gluconic acid. An aldehydic group is there, it is being converted as carboxylic acid group. So it is undergoing an oxidation here. So the name of the compound is gluconic acid. So here, which is that important thing which we can identify whether the substance had undergone an reaction or not, we shall see. So it is this part, that is Ag, silver. So Ag is nothing but it is a if you observe properly, it is an black colored precipitate, but it has a shining surface. So that's why silver, already we have seen silver vessels and all you have already seen. So it is it cannot be observed actually in the purest form. When you consider a silver in the purest form, it is just like a black color substance but with a very shining surface. So that's why we name that one as, we name that black colored precipitate as a silver mirror. Shining surface will be, so that's why we name that one as a silver mirror. So the remaining things, these are the byproducts. So here you can observe. So here it was ammonical silver nitrate solution. So or it is an complex, a tolerance test tolerance reagent complex. It is undergoing a reaction with glucose. It is a mild oxidizing agent. It converts the aldehyde group into carboxylic acid group, where it is going to give rise to an silver, that is black color precipitate with a shining surface. We name that one as silver mirror. If there is a presence of silver mirror is there, then it is understood that the compound is giving a positive result for the test. I hope it is clear. So this is about the tolerance test. Next we'll move on to the Benedict's solution test. Benedict's test. So we'll just consider an aldose, that is as it is either glucose or any aldehydic group. We can you can observe here. So in this compound CHO, CHO4 form CH OH 4 times CH2OH. It is the it is an carbon chain. So that entire carbon chain in general we have written that one as R group here. I hope it is clear. Carbon chain, that entire carbon chain is being mentioned as R group here. Next, so it is being treated with the Benedict's reagent. So copper with a citrate twice 2 minus. This is our Benedict's reagent. And it is a blue solution. What it is going to give rise to? Give rise to C double bond O, O minus, and it is R. That is nothing but carboxylate ion as it is, and a very important compound it is. That important compound is Cu2O. That is cuprous oxide. It is a precipitate once again. Cuprous oxide, which is in brick red color. So it is a precipitate, brick red colored precipitate it is. So an aldehydic group which is present in the glucose or fructose with ketoenol tautomerism, it contains an aldehydic group, will react with an alkaline solution of copper citrate complex. It is a complex, copper citrate complex. So that is what Benedict solution or blue colored solution it is. So that has been undergoing the reaction with the glucose or fructose, and it will be converted as carboxylate ion or gluconic acid. So if it is H plus has been added, then it will be converted as gluconic acid. So along with that, it is going to form and it is going to give rise to an brick red precipitate it is. So that brick red precipitate indicates the positive positiveness of the glucose, or whether the compound is reacting with the Benedict's solution or not. So this is about the Benedict solution. And one more thing to add here. So what glucose and fructose both will reduce Skiff's reagent. So that is also an important point to be noted. Glucose and fructose both reduce Skiff's reagent. Why it reduces Skiff's reagent? Because both of them have free carbonyl group. Free carbonyl group is there. So because of that reason, both will be reducing the Skiff's reagent. So Fehling's test, Tollens test, Benedict's test, Skiff's reagent, both will be glucose as well as fructose will be showing that test, the positive test for all these reagents. So this is what the important factors. So one more concept we'll study now. Next concept. So conversion of aldopentose to aldohexose. So this method has been called as Kiliani-Fischer method. So it is a little bit higher advanced concept it is. So JEE Mains or for JEE Advanced, we can expect the question from this topic. And this is an reaction method. So where we are going to convert an aldopentose to aldohexose. It is a sequence of reactions we are going to get it. So we shall start that reaction. So first we'll consider an aldopentose here. So it is CH double bond O, CH, OH 3 times, and it is CH2OH. So in short, it will be numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4. Here itself 3 carbon atoms are there. 2, 3, 4 it is there. That means that the last number we are going to write, it is 4, 1, 4, 5. So that is understood that So second, third and fourth are being mentioned here only. Okay, so this is the short form of numbering the compound. So this one is being treated with HCN. It is being treated with the HCN. So HCN dissociates as H plus and CN minus. This reaction already we have studied. So the bonded pair is going to shift on oxygen, making this oxygen negative and carbon positive. So positively charged carbon attracts towards Cn minus, negatively charged oxygen attracts towards H plus, and it is going to form an cyanohydrin. It is going to give rise to an cyanohydrin. So we can write it. So it is OH, oxygen being converted as OH, and this side H. So above will mention CN group. Okay. Next as it is. Next no changes. This is one form of cyanohydrin. Likewise, this OH can also be present in the left side also. It is in the right side in this. So in the next isomer, it may be the remaining things as it is. Only that first carbon OH group will be present either towards the right side or towards the left side. What we name this one? So these are pair of C2 epimer cyanohydrin. So we can write that one as a pair of what is C2 epimer, and they are cyanohydrin compounds. Cyanohydrin. I hope it is clear. So this reaction already we have discussed in our earlier videos, where it is going to give out an cyanohydrin, and those cyanohydrins may be of alpha and beta mixture. So those are nothing but they are the configuration between the two isomers are differ only at one carbon atom. So that's why they are called as epimers. They are named as epimers. I hope it is clear. Then this whatever this what a pair is there, if at all, if it is being treated, with the it is being treated with SnCl2 plus HCl, with that a step of hydrolysis. That is nothing but we name that one as what we call that one. We are going to call that one as a Stephan reduction. Stephan's reduction it is. Stephan's reduction, a very important step it is. So an epimers we are formed. It has been undergoing a Stephan's reduction. So Stephan's reagent SnCl2 is nothing but stannous chloride. It is nothing but Stephan's reagent. So that is being treated with an HCl and H2O, H3O plus or H2O. So that is what it is going to form. So we'll write the compound, the further reduced compound we shall write. So this is going to convert. So Cn is going to convert as Cn is being converted as CHO, that is an aldehydic group. Likewise, so it is what COH is being converted as it remains as it is CHOH. This is CHOH. CHOH thrice this compound, this group as it is. And next is the CH2OH. How many carbon atoms? Check. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is our aldohexose. We took an aldopentose here, 5 carbon atom. So it is aldehydic group with 5 carbon atom it was, and it is being converted as a 6 carbon atom, and it is an aldohexose is formed here, an aldohexose. We took aldopentose, only HCN we treated, then Stephen's reduction, we got an aldohexose. I hope it is clear. So further one more method is there. So we shall continue that one also. I hope this method is clear. One method full. Next method is, so this is what our epimers we found. This is a mixture. So if at all, if it is being acid if it undergoes acid hydrolysis. So H3O plus is nothing but H plus bar H2O, you can write it. That is nothing but in presence of an acid, it is undergoing a acid hydrolysis. Then what happens to this compound? We shall see. So this compound will be converted as if it undergoes acid hydrolysis, then that CN will be converted as COOH. This as it is CHOH. Next we'll write this elaborate little. So that is CHOH twice. The third one CHOH as it is. Next the last one is CH2OH. CH2OH. I hope it is clear. So we name that one, this one as a glyconic acid. Glyconic acid it is. I hope it is clear. So what we have done, we have acid hydrolyzed that one. The CN has been converted as COH. The remaining as it is, but we have written this elaborately. CHOH twice and CHOH. Separately we have written. So we can number that one also. So this is our first carbon. This is our second. Third and fourth together. So that's why I'll mention as 4 here. Next 5. Next it is 6. Now, so if at all, if it is heated, if the compound is being heated, this glyconic acid, if you are going to heat that one, then if you heat that one, we are going to get a mixture here. We are going to get a mixture here. So one compound I'll be mentioning here and one more in the down part. So that is C double bond O. It is C double bond O, OH it is. C double bond O. The remaining thing as it is CHOH. So this until here, that is CHOH twice. It is same. And again this CHOH when it comes, it is CH. This is as it is CHOH. Observe. So here this compound can be this group can be written as C double bond O OH. CHOH can be written as C double bond O OH it is. Okay. So here what we have in our fifth carbon, OH group is there. So OH and here also OH. So from this H2O is liberated. That is so H plus from this and OH minus from this. So it is going to liberate as H plus OH minus. OH minus is there. This carbon will be getting positive charge. H plus leaves, this oxygen will be getting negative charge. So C plus combines with OH minus. It is just like an hemiacetal formation once again. So that is it is going to combine with this and it is going to form an compound like this. I hope it is clear. So this is about lactone. What is this compound called? These are nothing but lactone. So we have one more such compound, lactone only. But we shall write that one and we'll name also that one. We shall name also that one. So here we are going to number that one in a different way. This is our carbonyl group. So to that a carbon is attached, that is alpha carbon. We have 2 carbons here. So alpha over beta and gamma. What about this one? This is our delta. All these are Greek alphabets. So alpha, beta, gamma, delta. So the carbonyl group is forming a bond with the delta carbon. So that's why we can name that one as a delta lactone. It is an delta lactone formed here. So one more such compound is going to form, an isomer is going to form. So that structure will write it down. So here also it is C double bond O, C double bond O it is. Okay, next. So we can write either this side or that side, not at all a problem. Next. So the alpha carbon as it is CHO group. Next, so it is beta carbon also as it is CHO group. Now it is gamma carbon which is going to involve in the bond formation with the carbon atom. Okay, so like this. So that is the carbonyl carbon forming a bond with the gamma carbon. So you can observe here, and the remaining thing as it is, we'll write it. Delta carbon is CHOH and the sixth carbon, that is CH2OH. So we can mention this is alpha, this is beta, this is gamma, and this is delta. So the name of this compound will be gamma lactone. It is an gamma lactone. Here it is delta lactone and the other one is gamma lactone. You can make out like this, gamma lactone, CHOH with that gamma lactone. I hope it is clear. Followed this one. So we have considered an glycolic acid. So we got an cyanohydrin acid hydrolyzed. It is forming a glycolic acid. When you heated that one, we got two compounds, two isomers. One is delta lactone and another one is gamma lactone. Only change is this carboxylic group is being converted as carbonyl group, and which is going to form this carboxylic acid group. It is going to form an bond with the first one with the gamma carbon and one with the gamma carbon and another one with the delta carbon. So it is forming a bond through oxygen atom. So we name the compounds as lactone, gamma lactone and delta lactone. These things, it is without reduction or without conversion. We are going to treat that one with the sodium amalgam. And we are passing carbon dioxide with a pH is equals to 3 to 5. With a pH of 3 to 5. So this gamma lactone and delta lactone and gamma lactone, that mixture, if it is being treated, what we are going to do, that mixture is being treated. That mixture is being treated with sodium amalgam, carbon dioxide, and pH is maintained at 3 to 5. We are going to convert that one, C double bond O, and it is CHOH. It is being converted as, so we have 3 times here and then CH2OH. This is our aldohexose. So you can observe first what we have done. We got a cyanohydrin in our compound. We were having a aldopentose. This I'll repeat, aldopentose was there. So we have converted that one to epimer of cyanohydrin. We have done an acid hydrolysis, which is converted, that cyano group is being converted as carboxylic acid. Then we have converted that one as, by heating, we have converted that one as carbonyl group. By reduction, we have converted that one as again an aldehydic group, aldohexose. This is an chain reaction. So two-step reaction is cyanohydrin when it is formed. Stephen's reduction if you do, then it will be converted as aldohexose. So two mechanisms we have studied here, or two methods which can convert an aldopentose to aldohexose. So this method is nothing but Kiliani-Fisher method.